Hey everybody, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today it's going to be Contra Hard Corps for the Sega Genesis. This is an excellent Contra game. It's got multiple characters you can play as, multiple different routes you can go through, multiple endings. It's even got a secret ending. Lots and lots of replay value on this one. I do hear people talk about this one a lot in terms of its difficulty, though. It is definitely a challenging game, but it's one of those games where when you know exactly what to do, when and where, it's actually not anywhere near as difficult as it first seems. I do find the first stage in this game is probably one of the more brutal, at least to get a handle on right away, because you've got enemies just bolting at you from both sides. This is actually the first stage right here that is demoing in the game. This is actually probably one of the toughest sections in the game, or at least it catches you off guard right away, and it just kicks you in the rear immediately, and you know, it's hard to get a handle on the game because of this first section. But Contra Hard Corps is a lot like a lot of later Contra games, or at least I should say from Contra 3 and on, through Hardcore, up through Shattered Soldier and Neo Contra and stuff like that. It's very memorization focused, so once you learn the enemy positioning, the big enemies in particular, like that spider they just killed, and you know how to take them out, it's actually quite easy to go through fairly consistently. And what I'm going to do here in this playthrough is show you a fairly, I'd say one of the easier routes in the game, and with a particular character I'm going to use, you can just annihilate many of the bosses in the game before they even get going. So if you've never beaten this game for the first time and you want to beat this game for the first time, just sort of follow this playthrough here and follow some of my tips I'm going to talk about, and I think you'll be able to see it through to the end of the game. And then once you get comfortable with one route, you can start mixing things up, taking different routes, playing as different characters, so on and so forth, and you can just have a good time with this game. This is a fantastic game, one of my favorite games on the Genesis. That I actually don't go back to that often because I played it so much back in the 90s. It was one of my absolute favorites back then. I played every single route, every single character, just multiple times, and it was just an awesome time. So, but yeah, before we kick things off here, guys, as usual, we're going to do the old Patreon shoutouts. So thanks to everyone that's continuing to support my channel on places like Patreon. They're going to flash by the screen. Also, thanks to everyone that's doing live stream super chats and is joining up via the channel memberships. Thanks a lot, guys. So with that, let's go ahead and hit the start button here. There is an options menu, but there's not really much in there in terms of actual game options. So we're just going to go ahead and hit the start button. You do have like sound effect tests and music tests and things like that. But yeah, we have multiple characters we can play as. You have 4 different characters. Fang is probably the hardest character to play as in the game, but pretty satisfying. And you've got, I believe, Ray and Sheena, similar characters with different weapons. And then we have our little guy here that we're going to play as in this playthrough, Browny. Browny is this tiny little robot, and what makes him special is, well, for one, his weapons are super powerful. His weapons also have homing properties in some cases, and he can also double jump, which gives you more jumping flexibility. It's very, very good. You'll see me using it a lot over the course of playthrough. So when I first start this level, what I want to do is take out these stationary guys up top. There's going to be another one up here just like that, and then I'm always constantly shooting back and forth to make sure that, oh, this is actually kind of bad, and my A weapon has... My A weapon got stuck in the barrels, so this is going to actually throw me for a loop here. So let's go ahead and switch back over to our machine gun shot. So we have weapon D right now, which is actually these homing balls. You just constantly tap the button, and as long as enemies are on the screen, they'll all basically gang up on the enemies together. Because I don't have my A weapon right now, I'm going to go ahead and use this bomb I just picked up and just kill this guy in one hit. Really cool ability in this game is you can press down and jump, and you can slide. You can actually slide through certain enemies in the game. It's an extremely important ability to know about. Also, when you're firing and you tap the A button, you can actually lock yourself into place. Now, if you're on a Sega 6-button controller, you can actually press any of the top keys as well, and which is kind of nice. So you can lock yourself into place, much like Contra 3. And we're going to go ahead and just stick into place right now. Actually, we don't really need to. I'm just going to shoot straight up like this. Unfortunately, since my A weapon got stuck in a barrel and I wasn't able to pick it up, this guy's going to actually take more hits than I'm used to him taking. But what you can do is just sit right in the middle, just like so. and you're pretty much safe from his first couple of attacks. And I'm going to switch back over to my A weapon. So I got my B and C weapons, which are both fantastic weapons. You're going to see me using them over the course of the playthrough. And in particular, we're going to switch over to weapon C right now for this first boss fight. The weapon C is, I think it's called the yo-yo. I believe it's called the yo-yo. It's been a long time since I've actually looked into the weapon names. But it has a homing property. It'll basically go straight to where the enemies are on the screen, any enemy. And what I like to do is, as it flings back, I like to let go and then fire out a new shot. Kind of like so. And we're going to go ahead and, this is phase 2. He does this spin attack like so. The first one you can just basically stand under like so. He does another one where he goes closer to the ground and you have to duck under it. What's kind of funny about Browny is a lot of attacks that you would have to duck with other characters, their shots actually don't go low enough to where they'll hit Browny in his standing position. So in a lot of cases, you don't actually even have to duck with Browny. You can just stand with him. So he's a really fun character to play as because he's tiny. So what I'm going to do is switch over. I'm going to try the B weapon here because it is fairly powerful. I'm going to try to take these guys out one by one, just like so. We just sit in place like so, and you'll notice that occasionally I'm double jumping, and Browny does a little hover in the air when he double jumps. And there we go. There's going to be a guy coming along the left-hand side with a bomb, just like so. And I'm going to switch back over to the yo-yo here, weapon C. And we have this spider boss. So he's going to shoot some lasers out. We want to jump over those. Just like so. And then he's going to go back up top, and we killed him. So weapon C with Browny is insanely powerful. It is insanely powerful. And as long as you use it right, you'll kill bosses before they even start doing anything. So definitely want to get that weapon. You want to hold on to it. And I think there are going to be some weapons appearing here. There we go, just like that. I'm going to switch back over to the yo-yo. There's going to be a weak spot that comes down, and it also shoots some lasers at you. Just like so. It's going to move behind us. We're going to shoot it on the left-hand side. Just like so. We basically killed it before it could even do anything. And this is Deadeye Joe. This is our main boss for this this second stage here. And he's going to basically sit like there, like that. We're going to just try to kill him extremely quickly. We killed him so fast, he didn't even do anything. That is why this weapon is just absolutely amazing. And we just annihilated Deadeye Joe. He's got a lot of patterns in that first form in particular, where he goes to the back of the screen, and he throws his arm with this really neat scaling effect, and lots of different things he does. But if you use Browny's weapon C and you use it correctly, like I said, you can just wreck bosses so fast. So we're already on to stage 3 now. We're just wrecking through bosses. Even though I didn't get my A weapon drop in the beginning, I have it now, which is good. We still persevered, we still survived, and we got our weapon C, and that is the main weapon we really, really need. We do use everything over the course of the playthrough, but I'd say of all the weapons, weapon D is the least used with Browny in particular. So, depending on the character you play as, your weapon preferences are going to change, and the weapon power is going to change. So not every character in the game has the same weapon. And actually, I'm pretty sure every character in the game has a completely unique arsenal, except for the bomb that you can use. The limited bombs that you get, and your stock machine gun. I think every other weapon is actually different for each character, which is actually really cool. So Browny's A weapon here is actually really unique. If you hold it down and then tap left or right to change directions, you'll notice that it sort of tracks all the way to the other side. Now what I like to do is just let go of the fire button so I can switch sides immediately. And so you're going to see me doing that a lot in this, so I can treat it like a regular machine gun and not this sort of laser painter. I'm going to go ahead and use this bomb right here too. We're going to be using the bombs a lot because I don't really have a use for them towards the end of the game. I tried actually using bombs on the final boss, but it didn't actually really do a lot on the final boss. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the bombs over the course of the main playthrough itself. You don't get it, like, you might get some extra bonus points or something for having bombs, but since I can't see my score on the screen, I don't really care that much. So I just go ahead and use the bombs. I don't know if you actually do get bonus points or anything like that. And so we're using weapon D right here. You can see how it just homes right in on the enemies. Also, if you jump up top here, this actually takes us to a secret area. And there's a secret boss rush here that you can go to. And you say give it a try or forget about it. If you want to do this route I'm doing, you want to forget about it. Otherwise, because when you go to the boss rush and complete it, you end the game. You get it's the hidden ending of the game, basically. So we're not going to do that right now. But that is actually a really fun one. I think I actually do that in one of my long plays of this game on my channel. That's probably like 7 or 8 years old. Alright, so we're going to switch over to Weapon C. This is just a common theme in Contra Hard Corps, boss rush. So this guy has multiple different forms, and it's not the first boss rush, and it's not the last either. So Deadeye Joe had a couple different forms, and then level 2 is a ton of different bosses as well, just back to back. Alright, so B form, this guy's going to shoot out some arrows. We really want to take care of these arrows. Probably a wise thing to do right now is just use my A weapon. But because the yo-yo here just does so much damage, it just doesn't even matter all that much. Alright, so this one is actually a little bit dangerous. It can actually charge right for you. It just seems to be completely random as to where this thing goes. Also, its projectiles cannot be destroyed, and you cannot slide through them, so you have to be really careful about that. Alright, so this is the last one. We need to hit this core just over and over and over again. So we're just going to go ahead and use Weapon C. Again, this is going to be our primary weapon for pretty much the whole playthrough. As long as we have it anyway. I want to try to be relatively careful here. And this is going to turn into a tank. And as long as you're ducking, you'll be completely fine. So let's just duck here. Just like so. And now it's going to turn into a helicopter. And you'll notice that when I'm using this weapon, I don't actually lock into place. I just shoot it and then just move around freely. Because one of the awesome things about this weapon is that it'll stay locked on the enemies even if you're moving. So you can shoot it out towards the enemy and then just walk in the other direction. It's an amazing weapon, to be honest with you. It's just really, really good in this game. Alright, so we're on the stage 4 now, and stage 4 is kind of really the last level in the game. The level after stage 4 is just a boss rush. Literally, it's the same screen for the entire stage, so I almost don't even consider it a stage, like a traditional level per se, or so to say. Let's go ahead and skip through this. What we're going to do is switch over to Weapon A. This is actually a part that gives a lot of people trouble, but all you have to do, even if you just have your stock machine gun, is just sit here, just hold down the attack button. And now with Browny's Weapon A, what you could do is just sort of taper it up a little bit, like so. But yeah, all you have to do is just inch forward, just hold down the attack button like so, as long as you're using your machine gun, and not something that has... like, if I was using the B weapon here, it probably wouldn't work too well. And let's go ahead and use these homing balls here. Weapon D. And I'm going to actually switch back to Weapon A as well. Weapon A is actually really good. I'd say of Browny's best weapons, it's Weapon A and Weapon C. Weapon B is actually really solid as well. It does a lot of damage, but I don't use it as often as the other weapons because you can get so many projectiles on screen that it'll actually stop firing. And that's not really a good thing. You want to have weapons in this game where you can just constantly shoot because enemies come at you really quick in this game and you don't want to have any gap between your shots. And there we go. We're going to switch back over to Weapon A because this part there are these sort of caterpillar kind of enemies that are rolled up. I don't even know what you would call them. Not really caterpillar. But they basically, these guys in these bald enemies will roll all over the screen. Sometimes they can actually fall down from the top. It seems where they come in from is random. See, that guy came down from the top, so you got to be careful about that. We've got a little bit of a derpy dino right here. He's actually kind of funny. If you shoot him in the nose, he'll actually shoot these things out, and that will actually kill you. So do not stare him in the face and then shoot him, because that will happen. If you're playing in two-player mode, make sure you don't shoot him in the nose. Otherwise, you know, your comrade in front of you might end up getting destroyed by him. So I'm going to actually switch over to Weapon B here. I feel like in this game, some bosses are actually weak to certain weapons. And I do find that this guy dies a little bit faster with other weapons rather than Weapon C. Also, the pattern that he does seems to be fairly randomized as well. He's one of those bosses in the game where he's relatively random. Some of the bosses in the game, like the spider we fought earlier, the stage 1 Deadeye Joe boss, you know, bosses like that are pretty much the same every time you fight them. But this guy does seem to have randomized elements to him, to where he'll do one pattern one time you fight him, and then the next time you fight him, he'll do a completely different pattern, which is actually quite interesting. So there we go. So we actually ended up killing him a little bit faster with the B weapon, surprisingly. And we're going to just shoot these plants really fast. They shoot projectiles off the top of the screen and they fall back down, so you have to watch out for those. And we're actually going to be using the B weapon for at least 2 of the bosses that we're going to fight here. This is another boss rush. Again, very common theme in Contra Hard Corps. So you'll notice that you can actually grab on the ceilings in this, and what's nice with Browny is that if he does a full jump, he doesn't grab onto the ceiling. Sometimes grabbing onto a ceiling can actually be a detriment, and you don't want to do it. It's one of the nice things about Browny. You have a little more flexibility. The character Fang, he's so tall that I believe every time he does a full jump, he always hits the ceiling. He always grabs onto it. So it's something you have to be aware of if you're playing with a character like Fang. But with Browny, he can do little baby jumps, and then he can sort of hover a little bit as a double jump. It's very nice, very flexible. Browny's actually my favorite character in the game to play as. Part of that is because of his flexibility. So this guy right here, he's got these helicopter blades up top. You can slam him into the left-hand wall, and then he just comes flying right back at you. So you have to be careful about that too. So if he gets too close to you, just shoot him back, like so. And sometimes what I like to do is just tap my fire button. This is actually a little bit easier if you've got just the standard machine gun. You can just literally hold down the button, and you don't really have to worry about him flying right back at you really fast, like he does with my upgraded A weapon. Alright, so one little trick you can do here is, as long as you're on the ceiling, the auto-scrolling backside of the screen will actually just push you forward. So I'm not holding on to anything or pressing anything right now. And I'm going to try to use the C weapon here, just like so. And let's hope I don't lose it, because I really need it for the next boss rush on the next stage. And there we go. Awesome. We got ourselves an extra life as well. And again, you can just have the screen push you, like so. So we don't really have to do anything right here. We just wait. We just wait and watch. But we are going to have to jump up onto the left-hand wall. And I'm going to switch back over to weapon A. And come on up here. Get on this wall, and we just inch over just a little bit. We don't want to get too far over, otherwise his little swinging motion there will just slam right into us, and we don't want that to happen. Alright, and so we can just sort of taper Browny's A weapon shot up like this. We just tap the up button a little bit. We don't hold it up, we just tap it up. He's basically shooting missiles out. And then he's going to come back out, and we're just going to go ahead and use the B weapon. So what happens here is, if you hit him too much, he flings back and forth. But the B weapon's shot is, you know, it's got such a gap that he doesn't actually get flung back very much. If you have a really, really powerful weapon like the yo-yo, he just goes almost all the way off the side of the screen. And he will fling back and probably kill you. And there we go. Alright, on to the next boss rush. So you have actually a choice here. You can actually choose to fight these guys that are going to appear, or you can join them. And if you join them, you go to a completely different route, completely new set of stages. And that's what's really cool about Contra Hard Corps. So you're only seeing a small fraction of the game in this playthrough. You're seeing the entire top route. It's not what I would call a good ending, but it's also not a bad ending either, and it's not the best ending. So there is a bad ending you can get, there is a best ending you can get, and the ending we're going to get is just sort of like middle of the road. It's not good, it's not bad, it's fine. So let's go ahead and let them go through this. There is some chatter in this game, and we just fight to the end. It's not even, I said join them, but it's not even join them. It's surrender and fight to surrender. They basically throw you onto a train, and then you go to a train level, actually. And the train level is one of those hardcore levels that actually appeared in Contra, the Alien Wars Advance. So the Alien Wars Advance was a port of Contra 3 to the Super Nintendo Contra 3 to Game Boy Advance. But it had a couple of hardcore stages in it as well, which was kind of interesting. So, wow. That guy lasted a lot longer than I thought he would. But yeah, we're basically going to switch to weapon C here and just rely on this for the rest of this boss fight. And I don't want to kill, I believe it's the next one. The next one should be this little flower with feet, and it walks to the side of the screen, dropping power-ups. There we go. So we don't want to kill that until it's off the screen. Sometimes it could drop some bombs, and it didn't drop a single bomb. That's a shame. Oh well, not a big deal. So its drops seem to be completely randomized as well. But you definitely want to make sure you don't kill it if you've died a couple of times, you've lost some of your weapons. This game is definitely more difficult if you die and you lose your weapons. It's very typical for action games like this. So it's very good to know the exact pattern or the exact order of appearance that these guys appear in. Alright, so I'm going to actually switch over just in case I die here. I'm going to switch over to the weapon D because it's my least favorite weapon of Brownies. It's the least necessary as well. And we're just going to jump over this guy like so, and we're going to jump over him again, switch over to weapon C, and just attack his core, and then slide like that. And this is one of those instances where with other characters you would have to duck, but you can actually get a little bit closer with Browny and not duck. And there we go, and that's it. So alright, this is actually our final stage. And I want to switch to weapon B right here because it's really good for killing these enemies that are going to be chasing us down for the majority of this stage. All right. And there's one bomb. I'm gonna go ahead and save it right now. We'll actually use it on one of the mini bosses here that we fight. I will definitely use it before the end of the level. Alright, switch over to weapon C. This guy is super easy if you've got weapon C with Browny. You can kill him before he even does anything. I'm not going to bother picking those up because I don't need them. If for some reason you're playing for score, they probably give you extra points. I'm pretty sure they do in old Contras, and it would make sense that they would give you more points in this one as well. And he's dead already. Switch back to weapon B. And actually, we're going to switch over to weapon C. Let's kill these guys real fast. Just like so. I do wish there was more traditional platforming in this game, kind of like Contra 1 and 2. Because Browny's double jump is just really screaming for more platforming. It's just very satisfying to double jump with Browny. Now, if I die here with weapon C, I'm not too worried about it because we will actually get another one. But we've actually kicked this guy right into his last phase, so you know he's almost dead if he's gone into this ball form. And we just annihilated him. Super fast. And there we go. So I want to come down here, a little bit closer to the bottom. There are going to be some aliens that appear on both walls. And there's a big one that appears in the middle. I want to target this guy with my weapon C. You really want to get rid of that guy. He actually has a lot of hit points. So if you get to him with just your machine gun, because you died a bunch of times and you lost all your weapons, he's very, very tough to get by. So you really want to get here upgraded. It's not hard to get here upgraded though, because you'll notice that after that last boss that we just fought, it dropped 2 weapons. So it's actually not hard to get here with weapons. You just have to be careful to not get killed by some of those aliens in the walls. And that's pretty much it. We're at the final boss now of this this route. And our goal in this final boss is to try to take care of its arms first, because the arms are actually pretty dangerous. It'll shoot these lasers down to the ground, and that is how we could die. There we go, it was charging up, and then we just constantly shoot its head, and then that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and just use this bomb. I don't really need to. It was probably more effective to just constantly use the yo-yo here. And this is probably going to be it. That is it. I think we got a 1 life clear on that route, actually. I don't think I died. I'm trying to think. I don't think I died. So that's really cool. But that's how you beat Contra Hard Corps fairly easily. If you're the kind of person that's been playing this game, but you've been struggling with it, practice the top route. Don't bother with the other routes. Just practice the top route. Pick Browny. Just use his, you know, take advantage of his really powerful weapons and his double jump flexibility. And just learn the patterns. It's not that hard. And you will be good to go. So, what I intend on doing in the future is a follow-up live stream of Contra Hard Corps, where I go through every single route in the game. So watch out for that sometime the next couple of months. I'm going to try to practice for that. And yeah, so if you want to see the other routes in the game, definitely stay tuned for that. It'll probably be one of my Thursday streams. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. So yeah, that is it. That is Contra Hard Corps for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. For those of you guys that don't know, there was actually a Contra Anniversary Collection that came out recently for modern platforms like Xbox One, PS4, PC, Nintendo Switch, so on and so forth. And it also has this game on it. So if you don't have a Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, but you've wanted to play this game, consider picking up that collection. It is definitely worth it. Lots of great games on that pack. We also did a live stream of that not too long ago, and got some Contra Hard Corps action in on there as well. So yeah, very good collection if you just want to play the game. And but yeah, I don't have anything else to talk about, guys. If you you know, have any questions or comments or anything like that, obviously post them in the comment section below. I'll be back with another Let's Play sometime soon. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. I've got a ton of Let's Plays here, and many more to come. For all you guys already sub, thank you for your continued support. And until the next one, guys, take it easy.